Justin Witter, 10 years old. Went missing on a bike ride last night near Troubadour Park. Park ranger found the bike. Oh boy.
Wait! Before we get started on this trending film that's playing right now on Netflix, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button right at the bottom, all right? I see you. I don't know where I got that from, but I feel like it's some comedy. But
Okay. This movie stars the most dysfunctional family in the world. Apparently, mama had an affair. She smashed an old fling. Everybody found out about it. And this has fractured the family. And this is important because they don't really talk to each other. And if they did talk to each other, if this was a more functional family, the film wouldn't operate because they would have probably figured out that there was a lot going on in the house. But because no one's really talking to each other, dad's sleeping on the sofa, son is ignoring mom, mom's trying her best, man. She cooking them pancakes as good as she can so she can get.
they look good too.
Yeah, they did look good. Got strawberries on them. She doing her best. But no one's having it. No one's having it. This family is torn apart. Meanwhile, the dad is dealing with this missing child and is bringing up old memories. And they're like, how is this possible? We put the bad guy away. What's going on? The movie is a bit of a slow burn at first. The mystery of the missing kid, I didn't find particularly compelling in the beginning. But what was interesting for me was that things in the house were going missing. All the silverware, not a fork, all of it was gone one day. And mom's like, hey, what happened to the silverware? And dad's like, shut up, bitch, you cheating ass. Damn, okay. So what the fuck does that matter? Exactly.
All of our silverware is completely gone. Look in the drawer. He said something strange about some girl who was helping.
Why would he take our shitty silverware?
I don't know, Greg, but it's not there. His boss is gonna look into it.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
If this was a more functional family, he'd be like, what happened with the silverware?
The son is like, you can't make up with fancy dinners and all this stuff right now.
Hey, did you let a repairman in today when I wasn't here?
Jesus, Mom, is that who it was? Did you screw a repairman?
And mom's like, yo, but some weird shit's happening in the house. Like, for real. Can y'all just stop yelling at me for a minute so we can solve this mystery? And then no one's having it.
You don't get to act like nothing happened. You think pancakes and fancy dinners are gonna make it up?
No, I don't.
You ruined our family and you should fucking pay for it!
And the pictures are vanishing out of their frames. And
you're like
it's like, that's weird. And mom's cup is missing.
Have you seen my mug? The one with the sunflowers on it?
And someone let in the window guy when no one was home. How was that? While this is going on, I'm like, is this like a supernatural movie or something? I was kind of hoping that I would get some breadcrumbs, but we really didn't get much.
The first thing that we see, the boy that gets kidnapped, he gets yoked off the bike and dragged back into nothing. And then you see the bike just going off. And that was a great freaking shot right there, which makes you think it's something supernatural going on.
Something odd. But then you're like, what kind of a ghost steals silverware? Like, that's so weird.
And pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And pictures out the frame. But as the movie goes on, you realize that opening scene was kind of like metaphorical. Like he just vanished into thin air, but really he didn't. There's a lot more going on here. The movie is not really giving me any breadcrumbs. It's not really letting me guess what's happening. And then suddenly the movie just rewinds. And you're like, what? And we're introduced to new characters. And I'm like, who is this?
Oh, man.
And so at this point, I'm like, oh, this movie, I don't know if this movie knows what it's doing. Yeah. But we learned that these two characters have a very suspicious and interesting way of living. For one person, because she seems to be like a hobo, and the other person, this is a little project for him. And this is called frogging. It's
never heard of this in my life.
Me neither. I don't know if it's real. I have heard of people doing this in real life, though. I've never heard the phrase frogging. But in the film, they describe frogging as, instead of living on a park bench or, in a train station, the homeless people, they just move into someone's house and they just live in the basement or live in the attic. And the family doesn't know.
They call us frogs with a PH because we hop from pad to pad undetected by the people who actually live in the house.
And you're like, Oh, so these people were in the house for the entire film?
But isn't that part of the fun, almost getting caught?
No, the fun is to not come close to getting caught. It's better than subways and park benches.
And I'm like, that's a really fascinating twist.
When that whole time switch changed, I was thinking like, does the director and the writer know what they're doing here?
Right.
Because when the window guy came and fixed the window, which the father threw the phone out the window. He was so mad at his freaking wife calling about something. Shut up, bitch. Out the window.
Toss the phone. Yeah.
So he had to call a window guy, and the window guy told the wife, you know, your daughter is very respectful and everything. She let me in all perfectly. She's like, whoa, I don't got no daughter. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, who let you in?
A kid of yours, very polite. You trained her well.
Who?
And I was like,
Right.
I was like, is it some type of supernatural ghost that's messing with everyone? I was so intrigued by that. And then when I see these two cornballs, like running inside the garage and taping themselves, by the way, incriminating themselves, I was like, what is going on?
Hello? Someone called about a broken window?
Just a second.
Just let him in. He doesn't know you don't live here.
The girl is like the hobo, like you said, but the boy has other plans. He's a little bit more, from where we see it, from our view, psychotic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, is this guy crazy? He's like, I'm having fun. And you're like, what? He's like, I'm gonna steal all the silverware.
I'm not finished playing yet.
It's like, why? I'm gonna mess with them. I'm gonna lock Dad in the closet. I'm like, what is happening? This guy's crazy.
We all just don't get why he's doing this.
Yeah.
right?
Well, it just looks like he's just a psycho.
It's just like he's just being a psychopath. You know, smoking cigarettes out on the roof, out in the open, when you're supposed to be hiding, buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's talking loud. He's like, hey, yeah. And the girl's like, oh, dude, keep your voice down. Shh, we are hiding. And he's like, yeah, whatever. You know?
Yeah. Yo, that mask was weird.
That's really stupid.
Stupid.
I appreciate stupid sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he's like, we're froggers. It's a frog mask.
I'm wearing frog face.
I'm like, sure, man. Yeah. Okay. Go for it. You know?
The place that they choose to hide is in a spare room that they don't use or anything. That's the one thing. It was like, if they had a dog in this film, that dog would have found out.
But the hobo girl was like, oh, this is why it's important to pick your houses carefully.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get the hint of our next twist, where we find out that the crazy boy picked the house. And you're like, And so for me, this movie, I actually, I don't know about you, but I actually really liked the movie. I was quite surprised because the movie kept twisting. Every time I thought I had the movie figured out, there was another twist. I'm like, oh, okay, so there's a supernatural ghost. No, there's someone living in the house? Oh, okay, all right, I see. The guy's psychotic and, wait, no, he's not? It's the father? Is he?
Don't say it yet.
I'm not. But you're just you're like, hold on, who is this dude now? And so for me, I like that the movie kept revolving. It kept twisting. The movie's got so many twists, it is almost comical. Because by the end of the film, you are watching a wildly different film featuring wildly different characters than the one you started.
I could say I did enjoy the film because it did keep my attention, but I was just thrown. I think the fact that I was thrown, I was like, how do I feel about this? It had to take me a while to figure out how did I feel about this.
This movie is 100 times more complex than you initially think it is.
So I was wondering, how do these squatters connect to the murder? They had a case about this 15 years ago where two boys were kidnapped and they were rescued. When he went to one of the kids' house, he was like horribly scarred. He did his face. He was like he had a mental breakdown then. But then he turned around and he looked at both of the cops. He was like, ah! You know, I was like, why was he yelling? And then everything kind of comes as a bullet within the last 30 minutes of this film. And I'm like, wait a minute. is this film trying to make me root for somebody?
Yeah, and that was kind of my thing. I was like, wait, so who's the good guy? And so you kind of think initially it's the cop, right? But as the movie goes on, you realize that he might have some secrets of his own. The movie has so many twists. It felt like trying to like unfold a piece of origami. Like you're like, okay, here's one fold, one twist, here's another one. And once you think you're done, you're like, wait, no, there's another piece here that I had to unfold. You're like, oh, wait, no, I'm not done yet. You know, every time I thought I had the whole movie together, there was like another twist. And I thought that was pretty cool. I actually really dug that a lot.
The writer of this film knows exactly what he's doing. His name is Devon Grave.
See, my name's Devin, so it's different. You see that?
Yeah. I really don't want to spoil the ending.
Okay.
For people. I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah. You should go figure that out. Discover it for yourself. The movie's a lot more complex than you think it is.
Starting to this film, I didn't know what I was gonna get. Is this a paranormal issue going on in this house? And then the dude said it was some little girl. I was thinking some like Annabelle stuff was gonna happen. You know? It turns out to be, like you said before, really complex, and it did a good job at making me not know who to trust, not know who to root for. The movie started off slow, so I had to take some points off of that, but it revved up towards the end, and it was satisfying in the end. So I have to give this film a B+.
That's exactly what I'm giving it, a B+. I was very surprised when the movie started. I was like, oh Lord, what am I watching? And then when the movie starts to double back, and you're like, oh, this is a twist, and you're like, oh, this has another twist. Oh, this has another twist. This movie has a lot of twists, and the movie does not stop twisting. And there came a point where I just could not. I didn't know what the next scene was. I didn't know what was happening next, and I thought that was really exciting. If we could have cleaned up that beginning just a little bit to make it a little more propulsive in the beginning of the film, I think we'd have a killer film. I liked that my loyalty to different characters kept switching. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know what was going on, and I thought that was very cool. And I think this was a very, very clever film. I'll be honest, this is kind of my kind of film. I think I like films with a lot on their mind, and that you can't really predict every step.
You know what this kind of reminded me of? One of our favorite films of 2022, Barbarian.
Yeah.
We did not know what was going on in that film. It had abrupt time changes, taking you to where another part of the film where you thought you knew what was going on. Then it's just like, hold up, I got to show you something different now. So it can connect to what you saw earlier, but it was more cinematic though.
And Barbarian had a big overarching theme about feminism and how men terrorize women and they get away with it. And it had a big overarching theme. This one didn't have like a big overarching theme like that. This was just like the movie just kept revolving and revolving and turning and turning and unfolding and unfolding. And I thought that was cool. I thought it was great.
Do you recommend this film?
Actually, much to my surprise, I highly recommend this film. I had a lot of fun. I was like, that's fun. That's fun. That's a fun film. Yeah, it's not super cinematic or super big budget, but once the first twist happens and the movie doubles back on itself, I was fully engaged. It got me. I was hooked.
I do recommend this film also. It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
just go ahead and watch it. Give it some love, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot of potential here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some new talent popping up over here. I actually was pleasantly surprised by this film. And on a personal note, I think it's also exciting to see a small budget, maybe even micro budget film, because the whole movie takes place in one house, a really big house, but the whole movie takes place in this one house. It's kind of exciting to see this kind of like micro budget film be as good as it is and to be trending like this, because it kind of feels like anybody with a really good idea can make a good movie, you know? Yes. And that I find that exciting. Look how stale things are from Disney right now. You know what I'm saying? look how dumpy and dry things are from Warner Brothers and DC.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and then you've got some really exciting, interesting, not perfect, but really exciting and interesting things happening on like this like micro scale. I find that exciting. Hope more movies like this get elevated like this one has.
But more importantly, do you recommend this film? Have you seen I See You? Get down in the comments and let us know what you thought of it.
And if you do that, we'll see you.
I see. I don't know where I got that from. I don't get it. Maybe I'm mixing. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm mixing SpongeBob's I Need It.
Is that what you're doing?
I need it. If you are new to seeing our faces on here, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, all right?
It's right there.
It's
I'm
right
looking
there.
at it.
He is through the bottom of his camera somehow, but it's there. If you did like our rating and review for this film, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion. Just remember one thing: it is mostly wrong. See you in another film.